Wildlife Camera Guy.
Hi, my name is Dave, and this is the Wildlife Camera Guy channel. My last trip to Africa was to Botswana. I had seen people on YouTube use a monopod to lower their camera out of the vehicle for low-angle shots. I took a monopod and gave it a try. Not good. Not good at all. I was trying to use a Bluetooth controller to focus and fire the camera, and I flipped out the LCD monitor on the camera so I could see it from above. This was a mistake. You definitely need a monitor at eye level. It was a frustrating experience, and I gave up. The only low-angle shots I got that trip were from a sunken blind at the watering hole. Some of those shots were awesome. I want more of those shots. I'm making this video in November of 24, and my next trip to Africa is Kenya in February of 25. I'm pretty sure you've never seen any videos by me up till now, and that's because I have really just made videos for myself and my family. I'm making this one because I couldn't find anything on YouTube that was comprehensive enough to help me. I hope this one will help you. This rig is my take on my own experience and information that I found on the web. And if there is one thing that I think is most important, it's the USB cable. This provides a 100% rock-solid connection between your device and the camera. I won't trust Bluetooth again. This is everything you will need to turn your monopod into a sturdy and versatile tool to enable those low-angle shots from a safari vehicle. All of these items will have Amazon links in the description below, and I describe each of them and why I chose that particular one and what its function is. While most of it is fairly apparent, my preference is a thorough video that doesn't take all day to watch. I'll try to accomplish that here. If you watch all the way to the end, I'll share a couple of modifications and additions that I will probably use in Kenya. One of those I've never seen before in photos or videos on the web. The one piece of equipment that I don't have a recommendation for is the monopod itself. You probably already have one, like I did. Either way, you should choose one that is sturdy enough to dangle $10,000 worth of camera equipment from. The critical part is the locking mechanism for each section. I prefer a twist lock for this purpose, but you do you. This might not be the time to buy the cheapest one on Amazon. The first thing you will attach is an Arca Swiss clamp that you will use to connect to your camera that you will be dangling out of the vehicle. I've used this brand before, and they are well made and sturdy. I like a screw clamp for this instead of the more convenient lever. I think it is less likely to release during use. Your tripod needs to have a foot that can be removed, leaving either a 1/4 20 or a 3/8 16 threaded hole for you to attach the mini ball head. You will need some hardware to connect the mini ball head to the tripod foot. The link is for a package of similar connectors. This is one I had in my excessively large collection of camera stuff. I will carry a few of these connectors and adapters in my bag in case of trouble, or if I think of something else to dangle from the rig. The mini ball head should be sturdy and easily adjustable. You can even use a very nice one for this, but it is just to hold your phone or tablet, not the camera. This is one I had in my collection of stuff, and the one I've linked is by Ulanzi, an inexpensive brand that I trust to make good stuff. The phone holder is also minimalistic and made by Ulanzi. You may already have one of these. It just needs to have a 1/4 20 threaded hole at the bottom so you can attach it to the mini ball head. The handle makes it easier to hold the rig with your non-dominant hand below the level of the phone monitor outside of the vehicle. You might want two of these. I prefer one and a hand strap at the top on the other clamp. This D-ring is to attach the hand strap. The hand strap is for peace of mind. If the whole rig starts falling, this should help you catch it. These clamps attach to the monopod, and then the handle and the D-ring screw into them to make holding the monopod easier and safer. I chose Small Rig brand because they build solid stuff, and these are pretty inexpensive. There are probably cheaper ones available. Is this the right place to economize? While it is likely that any USB cable with the correct connectors will work, I chose this one for its fast data rates and its magnetic properties, which makes it easy to keep coiled and controlled. The linked cable is slightly different from this one since Amazon no longer lists this one. The important part is that it should not just be a charging cable. Some cables have very slow data rates. You want yours to be fast. This one is rated at 480 megabits per second. There are faster ones, but this works fine. I have not tested slower cables. You don't have to have a magnetic one, but it really does prevent aggravating tangles. I use a right-angle connector on the cable where it attaches to my device. This lets the cable dangle without putting as much strain on the USB port on the device. It is not required, but it is nice to have. I don't use one on the camera end as I think it is unnecessary. This whole plan assumes that you've got a camera and lens to shoot with. There are too many choices for me to recommend one. I shoot Sony gear, and I've chosen a 70 to 200 millimeter lens for this application. The only downside to this choice is that it is not a power zoom lens. Sony makes a 28 to 135 millimeter f4 power zoom lens that would be awesome for this application. But the one I rented was not sharp. Most lenses like this do not have an Arca clamp built into the lens foot, so I replaced the stock Sony lens foot with this one from Really Right Stuff. It's a Cadillac for sure, and there are other excellent makers that produce good stuff for less. You probably already own this, or you can just attach an Arca Swiss plate to the factory lens foot. If your camera and lens setup does not have a foot on the lens, then you will need to attach the monopod to the bottom of the camera and invert the image on your phone. Because I'm a Sony shooter, I'm ignorant of how Canon or Nikon and other equipment works with their phone apps, but I feel certain that they have matched or surpassed Sony in this capability. No matter what brand you use, you are on your own. This video will not cover the operation of the rig, just the construction. Assembly is very straightforward. Attach the two super clamps to the monopod. Screw in the handle and screw in the D-ring with the strap attached. Attach the mini ball head and mount your phone. Run the USB cable from the phone to the camera and follow your manufacturer's instructions for connecting them. I'd practice this a few times in the comfort of your home instead of in the safari vehicle under pressure. Make sure it is second nature before you are parked 10 yards from a pride of lions. Operation is up to your camera app. The Sony app is easy to operate and gives the shooter control over everything that is important in this situation. I normally use back button focus, but because the camera will be dangling a few feet below me, I have turned on autofocus with shutter. I'm not going to be composing a lot of shots where I need back button level of control. I've also turned on pre-autofocus. With the latest version of the Sony camera, I will definitely have eye autofocus enabled. I set the shutter speed and f-stop manually depending on the situation and set ISO to auto. I'll be shooting multiple shots, often at 30 frames per second. Depending on the subject, I might slow down to 20 or even 10. I have searched long and hard for this info and found mostly none. I think Fro mentioned his rig in one of his videos, but he did not detail it. The most helpful info I found on the web was from Randall Ball Photography. He does things differently, like using a monitor and a separate remote to control the camera. At least with the Sony Creators app, I feel like using the phone is a better way to do it. You have the monitor and control in one device. You can find that article at randallballphotography.com. I'll link the article in the description below. Okay, I guess it's not really pro tip if I just suggest that you get a pair of pliers, but these aren't just any pliers. I was shocked at how much they cost on Amazon. 30 bucks? Are you kidding me? These pliers are tiny at only 4 inches long, but I did not find any cheap Chinese knockoffs. Nothing else is as small and light. You might need some pliers when assembling and disassembling this rig. They are good to have in your camera bag all the time anyway. The jaws open impossibly wide, and they are useful for all sorts of tasks. My other pro tip is to use a second handle or other similar device to rest on the ground under the camera. If you are swinging a heavy rig and you want to be very low, this could be the ticket. It will allow you to rest the whole rig on the ground, virtually eliminating fatigue. If it is too low for a particular shot, you can screw 2 of them together for double the height or just pick it up and hold it as before. I've purchased an inexpensive center column extender that extends from 7.5 inches to 12.5 inches. One aspect of each component I've chosen is weight. I want to use components that are as light as possible without compromising the sturdiness of the rig. The camera and lens are going to be heavy enough without adding a lot of weight with big ball heads or large video monitors and batteries. My early iterations used a magic arm to attach to a clamp and then put the mini ball head and phone on the magic arm. Then I found Randall's article and just take the foot off of the monopod and attach it there. It's been a process, and while I've tested this rig at home, I have not used it in Africa yet. When I do, I'm sure I'll find further improvements to make. Hopefully, I can get someone to photograph me using it from a safari vehicle. You can see images of a similar rig in use on Randall Ball's page at the link in the description. Well, that's all I've got. I've enjoyed making the video just to see if I could present this in a pretty simple and straightforward way. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Wildlife camera guy's the name. Capturing critters in the frame. In the wild, he's got the eye for every creature passing by. Wildlife camera guy's the name.